Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's our Manchester United versus Newcastle United preview show. I'm joined by Matty from the Magpies channel. How you doing, pal?
Buongiorno everyone. Yeah, good mate. Well, as good as you can be in our current predicament.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I've entitled our show 3 Easy Points for Jose Mourinho, and that's going to be my stance on this. And no disrespect to Newcastle, but you've not had the best start to the season. 7 games, 5 losses, 2 draws, 2 points. This, for some United fans, they don't want to play you because it's the perfect game for Manchester United to realistically should get 3 points when you compare the squads and everything, and that will keep Mourinho in a job. I mean, how do you feel about this game? Some would say it's a perfect time to play United, but I can't see you scoring. I think that's your problem.
I mean, I touched that on the preview that I did for our channel. I said it's the perfect time. It's probably the best ever time since I've been alive, since the 90s, to play Manchester United. However, I usually be looking at that on the same scale as it's the best time to play Newcastle United. Like you said, we're off to a very poor start. There's a lot of negativity and hostile around the club under Mike Ashley, but it's kind of the same with you lot, where it's clear to see to me that Mourinho's lost the dressing room. There's certain sections of the fans that are on his back and wanting change. So that's why we're looking at it. And obviously, I've been watching news lately. Valencia the other night, bit of a board draw away to West Ham, getting beat 3-1. That was a very poor performance, and that reiterates the fact of how it looks like Mourinho's lost his players. So it's a great time to play Manchester United. It's a great time to go to a ground like Old Trafford and go for the 3 points. But under our performances this season, it's been a bit dull. It's been negative. You're right. There's not many goals. There's not much going forward. So it's hard to call. It's very hard to call, and I'm trying to be optimistic. I said I would normally take a draw going there, but I want to see 3 points. But this weekend, I do think you'll probably still edge it. That little bit of quality, the standard of players you've got, a total league above ours. So
definitely, I don't mean to be disrespectful, Newcastle, but I just think that, as I said, I just don't think Manchester United could lose this game. And I know clips will be of this if we do lose, but I just cannot see how Manchester United would lose this game. And in some ways it's irritating. I mean, the most important way is I want Manchester United to win because I'm a Manchester United fan. But in some ways it's irritating because I know what it means, and I'll say it right now in preparation for all the match reactions and all the flip-flop fans who suddenly say, let's give Mourinho another chance. Let's not give him a chance. He's had more than enough chances, and beating Newcastle at home should be what Manchester United are capable of doing with the players that he's got, and I fully expect him to do that. So I'm going to say that now. I think we'll win, and I'll still say after the game that I still think he needs to go because I think his time has passed. But in relation to Newcastle, what can you tell us about? I mean, I know that obviously we know the results. We know that you're struggling to score. I actually think if this was at St James's Park like last February, it would be a tough game for us, the form we're in. But what's your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What's the style of play? What's your formation? How will you set up, do you think, for this game?
Well, starting off with the strengths, I would say Rafa's always a manager that's going to make it hard to beat. We found that out early on. We've came up against the top 4 in the likes of Man City, Spurs, Chelsea, and we've only been beaten by a goal. And in a lot of those games, there's been penalties and the odd thing where there could have easily been draws. So the thing is with Rafa, although fans might not like it and, one for the negativity, the goal difference last season seemed we finished 10th. And that was the case. On the last game of the season, we couldn't have finished anywhere between 10th and 16th. We finished 10th. That was throughout the season. His tactics of making you hard to beat. That's first and foremost what he'll do. I expect him to probably play 5 at the back. I'm hearing Paul Dummett and Fernandes, who were signed from Swansea in the summer, we're going to be back in the Stomp 11, who's been a good signing. The problem with Newcastle is that we've got Stoke City's 5th choice striker up front for £5 million in Hoslu. And he offers you little and nothing. He can't shoot, he can't pass, he can't run. The only thing he's half decent at is headers, yet we don't get the ball out wide enough. Rafa seems to have a falling out with Matt Ritchie. Kennedy, brought in on loan from Chelsea, had a great little stint with us last year, doesn't look interested this year. So we're really struggling in the final third to cause any sort of threat. And that's where the problems lie, to be honest with you. I think he will set with a 5-4-1, he will try and catch us, but it goes down to, I think, your quality shining through. I'd probably see the likes of Rashford, someone like that, popping up with that little bit of skill and finesse to nick out a 1 or 2-0, unfortunately, for us.
If I was a spy for any other club other than Manchester United, to say how to beat Manchester United, then I would say the best way to beat United is to have pace on the break and keep the ball on the ground and pass it around, because we are terribly slow as a team, and we're not a very good footballing side. But I suspect you're probably going to come to Old Trafford and sort of, park the bus is our word, but sit deep. And I think any team that sits deep against United probably gives us the advantage, because the way to hurt United, as we saw with Wolves, as we saw with Derby, is to be brave and expansive. But it doesn't sound like you've got that quality in that sort of attacking area to go and do that, which I think will play into our hands, which is I think we'll win, because if a team sits back, we can always loft a few balls into Fellaini and stuff, and you've got that little bit of quality. It's when teams go at us and we have to sit back ourselves, that's when we become vulnerable, like West Ham.
Precisely. I mean, the problem is with Newcastle, Rafa tried it with Christian Atsu on the weekend, bit of pace, just not good enough, just not enough in the final third. Jacob Murphy, another championship player. And to be fair to Rafa, he's working under Mike Ashley, the signings that we can only afford to make. The thing is, though, a lot of fans are crying out to see Muto start, because a bit of pace up front is what we needed against Leicester, against slow centre-backs and Maguire and Morgan. And again, like you've touched on, to hurt Manchester United, we need pace. So just start with the likes of Kennedy and Muto. Try and get in behind, because nothing's going to happen with the likes of Hoslu being stale up front and starved of service. So get the ball out wide to Richie and Kennedy and try and get the ball up top quickly. And we need players like John Joe Shelby to step up, because he's a great player on his day, but he's been very poor this season as well, just like the rest of the 11.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you can get it United down the width, certainly our Valencia side, the right-hand side, we've been very weak there. I think Luke Shaw's been steady this season. In fact, he's been more than that. He's been very good. But if you've got something down the left, that could cause us a problem. Quickly then, what I'm going to go United to win it 2-0. I know you're a Newcastle fan, but I don't think you can get anything more than a draw. But do you fancy that? What are you going to go for at the weekend?
I'm going to go. My heart says 0-0. It says we'll scrap a draw or a 1-1. But realistically, I think we're looking at a 1-0 Rashford or a comfortable 3-0 for Man United, unfortunately. I'm not very confident. It's a shame. It all depends on how we go for it, but just with our squad, you look at your players, Sanchez's wages more than what we spend on a single player. We spent $1 million in the summer. What can we expect? Unfortunately, that's the dire show we're suffering here at St James Park at the moment.
I certainly think, obviously we're not a Newcastle fan channel, but Newcastle is a club that you always associate with the Premier League. And just very quickly, if you want to just give us a minute or so on what you think your future is, because it just seems to be a mess. Massive support, very passionate support, big ground. I'm not saying Newcastle should be challenging for titles, but they certainly should be challenging for the top 8. And again, it looks like a season where you're going to be looking down at the Championship with a bit of nervousness. And is it all on Mike Ashley, just a badly run club?
It is, because neither do we expect titles. A lot of time Newcastle fans get called deluded and whatnot. It's not the case. You look at Burnley; they haven't spent much money. They haven't got world-class players. They haven't got a world-class manager. Yet they were in Europa League. They get a top 7 finish. Surely Newcastle United can compete for the top 8, top 10. Last season, finished 10th. That was a summer to kick on. Like I say, Rafa got £1 million to spend. We got in Salomon Rondon as a loan signing from a relegated club. Was our star signing in the summer. Pretty much sums it up on a Mike Ashley. We have got a top class manager, Rafa Benitez. Yes, it's been very negative so far this season. However, the calibre of clubs he's came up against, you can't really blame him. Our season doesn't really start until Brighton, 2 weeks' time at home, when we're playing teams in and around that we need to win. Yes, the Leicester game was disappointing. That was the worst I've seen us play for a long time, I've got to be honest with you. I was really expecting 3 points or at least a draw there. Leicester didn't even have to get out of second gear to beat us. And that's why I'm not confident going to Old Trafford. Even with everything you've got on, I don't think it'll take much to nick 1 or 2 goals. But for Newcastle going ahead, I think with Rafa Benitez, we'll finish around 16th. I don't think we'll go down. I think we'll stay up. Mike Ashley had a team meeting with the players and Rafa Benitez last night in an Italian restaurant. No one knows exactly what was discussing yet, whether he was selling the club, whether he was staying. There's a lot of rumours. What we need is a bit of investment in January. Rafa may get that if we're deep in trouble, if we're lingering in the relegation zone still. But under Mike Ashley, under no ambition, I'd expect nothing more than a mid-table finish.
Matty, thanks for joining us for the first few minutes of the show. Magpie's channel, that's correct, isn't it, on YouTube?
The The Magpie channel, mate. Yes, thank you very much.
No worries at all. And if you're down at the game on Saturday, pop over to Flex, give us a fan cam, and we'll do likewise if you want. But cheers for coming on, and really appreciate giving us that insight into Newcastle.
Yeah, cheers, mate. No worries. I'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you, mate. Drop a like on the video, everybody. I mean, we've done this a couple of times now, and personally, I find it fantastic because you get that insight into a club that, you know, I know that they've lost 5 of their first 7 games. I know that they've drawn 2, and I know that they're struggling to score. They're a bit like Lukaku. You know, they throw a rock at the ground, they miss it. You know, they miss the ground. It is that way for Newcastle at the moment. But I think that when you look at what Newcastle's problems are at the moment, it's an absolutely perfect game for Manchester United. I don't think there's a better game we could play other than probably Cardiff. They are massively struggling. They can't score goals. They lost to Newcastle because they conceded from 2 set pieces. I think United get a lot of corners at the moment. We'll win this game. In the bigger picture, I want to talk about the bigger picture because of Jose Mourinho. What's going to happen on Saturday is we're going to beat a very poor Newcastle side. And, you know, thanks to Matty for coming on. Very passionate. Newcastle fans are very, very passionate. I respect that. But, you know, you've got to call a spade because it is a spade, and we will smack Newcastle with that spade on Saturday because they just don't have the quality to hurt us. They're not Valencia. They're not going to come in and with really good players and players off the park. They're not Derby County, who've got a really good attacking system with quick players, and they're not Wolves, who didn't beat us either, but, you know, they're on a high. Newcastle are in a lot of trouble. In a way, they're a bit of a BTEC Manchester United at the moment. They've got worse owners than we've got. They didn't spend any money in the summer, less than we did. Their manager's very good, but he's living on a past reputation like ours. And they're struggling to score goals. So they're just a slightly worse version than what we are. And it's the perfect game for Manchester United. And I know people will talk about confidence before a storm. And I have tweeted and I have said it on this show. We're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. And nothing will... I know I've said that previously, but you cannot underestimate how perfect this game is for Jose Mourinho. I've heard people saying lucky, and I agree. I think he's very lucky. I think he's ridiculously lucky. And like Matty says, their season starts in 2 weeks' time, after the international break, when they play Brighton. What's going to happen with United is... Obviously, we're going to watch the games because we're United fans. But what's going to happen is we're going to beat Newcastle. Some fans are going to go, oh, maybe he's the right manager. I'm changing my mind again. Maybe he is the right manager. Let's give him a chance. Let's get behind the team because we beat Newcastle 3-0. We're going to come back after the international break, and that bubble of enthusiasm that you've got isn't just going to get popped by a pin. It's going to get bazookaed by Sarri and his Chelsea team because they're going to batter us. We don't win there anyway, but they're going to absolutely annihilate us. Mourinho will try and park the bus, and he will still lose. We will get beat by Chelsea, and we'll be back exactly where we all are now, where the majority of us are saying this club needs to act now and sort this out at the club. The manager needs to go. And I tell you what, if we don't beat Newcastle on Saturday, I will probably be more mad with the players than I am mad with Jose Mourinho. I mean, I want Mourinho to go, 100%. I want him to go. But if our players, even if Mourinho does go, if we can't beat Newcastle, that reflects more on the players than it does Mourinho. Because Mourinho has lost it, yes, I agree with that. But the players we've got, even without a manager, even with bloody Ian Beale off EastEnders managers on Saturday, we should win the game because the players we've got are way better than theirs. We're at Old Trafford. You know, you could blindfold Pogba and he should still run that midfield. It's such an easy game for United and we will win it. And as I say, it's a lucky game for Mourinho because I actually do think if he drew or lost on Saturday, he'd be sacked over the international break. I think that would happen. But it's not going to happen because we're going to win this game. Like West Ham, I was like, we should win, but we didn't. Tottenham, we should win, but we didn't. But this game, let's not pretend. They can't score goals, Newcastle. They concede goals. They've not got anything near the quality we've got. We've got a 75,000 capacity stadium behind us. Mourinho needs to win it. The players know that they're on trial. We'll win this game. And Mourinho will survive into the next phase after the international break, which is massively disappointing, but it's the perfect game. He's landed on his feet. He is so lucky that we've got this game of football on Saturday against Newcastle at home because it's unlosable. He can't lose it. The worst he can do is draw, and a draw actually might still be enough to keep him his job because I haven't lost. So I think in some ways I really wish we were playing somebody a lot tougher because I want the test and I want him to be gone from the club. But obviously I always want Manchester United to win. And we will win on Saturday. And I think 2-0 Conservative, maybe 3 or 4-0. I think if we get an early goal, they're so bad. We won't learn anything on Saturday. Unless we get a bad result, we won't learn anything. If we win on Saturday, it doesn't change my direction, and it won't change many fans' opinion. It's just a very perfectly winnable game. When we look at how we might line up, unfortunately for Mourinho, it looks like Lingard is going to miss out, Ashley Young's going to miss out, and Herrera's going to miss out. They're 3 players who are Team Mourinho, and they're the perfect players to play because they will give 100%. So that's a slight worry for Mourinho, but I still think the quality's too much there. I think what you'll see De Gea in goal. I think we'll see Valencia and Shaw as the fullbacks. I think we'll probably see Bay and Smalling again. I think he's going to settle back on those, which is our best centre-back pairing at the moment. I think the midfield will change. I know it sounds controversial, but I think he'll drop Fellaini because I think at home against Newcastle, the last thing you want to do is play on the back foot. They're going to play on the back foot. We need to have some creativity. I think he'll go Matic, Fred and Pogba. And then I think his front 3 will be the same as Valencia. I think it will be Lukaku, Sanchez and Rashford. I think Martial should start. I think Martial in that second half against Valencia showed more than Sanchez did and has in the last 8 months. But I think he will stick with Sanchez, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sanchez put a decent performance in and scored a goal. And everyone will be like, oh, that's Sanchez. He's back now because he's scored against a team that's probably, championship standard at the moment. So I don't... I know I'm going in on Newcastle a lot here. I'm more going in on United, to be honest. I'm more going in on United because I just don't want to fall into this trap of when we've won this game, everything's rosy in the garden. It's not. It's just such a winnable game. It's the perfect game for Jose Mourinho, let's be honest. I have a horrible feeling about the result against Newcastle. Hope I'm wrong, says Alistair King. Mate, I can't... Never say never in football, but I have seen Newcastle come and get draws at Old Trafford. But that's their ceiling. They cannot win this game. We're not that... They cannot win this game. I mean, we could have beaten Valencia the other night. We didn't deserve to, but we could have beaten Valencia the other night. And you look at the quality of the team they've got. Newcastle just don't have the quality to hurt us. They don't. And that's absolutely honest. Yes, they could play the game of their lives and we could be absolutely rubbish and they could nick something. But I just don't see it. I think we will... Even on our worst game, we'll force a result. We really will. Energy equals Pog, Fred and Pereira. Well, I'd love to see that as a midfield 3, but I just can't see it. Laxboy1999 says Brighton, Wolves, Derby, West Ham and Valencia were games we should have won. It's very upsetting at how bad we are. How? With this team, how are we this bad? The tactics, to be honest with you, Laxboy, it is the tactics a lot of the time with Manchester United. That is the problem that we are facing at the moment. And... that is down to the manager, but I don't think even Jose Mourinho can mess this game up. I think it's there to be won, and we will win it. Let's have a look at some of your comments. We can lose to Newcastle. Don't be naive, says Red Irish Ohio. I'm not saying we can't lose. I'm just saying I can't see how we will lose. Do your research. I mean, the one thing I would say, Matty is very right, is that I forgot to say it to him there. Newcastle, in their first 7 games, yes, they've lost 5 and drawn 2, but they have played Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs. So they have played, 4 of their first 7 games have been games they do expect to lose. And they have lost them. They've drawn with Palace, I think they drew with Cardiff, and they lost to Leicester. So... And they've not been smashed. He's right. So I think they will be well organised. And Rafa Benitez, although he is a Spanish waiter, he is a very good manager. He's a very good manager. And, I just think it's the perfect game for United. And that's my opinion. And if you think anything else, that's fine. But I'm not concerned about this game. I don't think you're going to see fans ranting after the game. I think what you'll probably see is fans coming out saying, yeah, it's a win and that's what we want. But Mourinho still needs to go. I think that's what we will see. And it'll be, maybe it will just be a stay of execution because after the next international break, we've got some tough games. And it's going to be interesting. You forget it's not about United's quality, it's about performance, mate, says Herence Tingwani. Yes, I know, but I'm one of those fans who doesn't agree with this lack of effort. I think the United players are putting an effort in, and I think that what's been killing us the last few games is the negative tactics of Mourinho. When you think about Wolves, when you think about Derby, when you think about West Ham, we sat back. We let the better footballing team dictate to us in those 3 games. Against Valencia, we sort of did it again. And we got a lot of our chances from the referee giving us a lot of free kicks, corners from long balls. So we sat back in those games. Newcastle will sit back against us, which means we'll have to attack, and I think that plays into our hands. That's why I think we will win it. And I think the players will play better in a system where they have to attack. But the last 4 games, Mourinho's made the team sit back. He won't make them sit back against Newcastle because he just won't. So we'll see the better side of the players today, on Saturday. Having said that, as I say, if we lost the game on Saturday, obviously I would say Mourinho's got to go, and I think he would go. But I'd also go in on the players, because if our players can't beat Newcastle at home, a team that's going to sit back against us, then there is a big problem with our playing staff as well. Imagine the scenes if they beat us, says Mark 18 Martin. Well, I think we all can imagine that very easily. I just don't think it will happen. Chelsea will batter us. Hazard will kill Fellaini. Jose needs to go before that, says Hemridge. Yeah, it'll be back to reality. There goes gravity when we play Chelsea. 100%. They'll beat us because Mourinho will go back to, I think against Newcastle, he'll let them attack like he did against Burnley. And I think when we play Chelsea and when we play Juventus and when we play Man City, he'll definitely sit back and we'll see the return of the bad results because he's scared. He's a coward against the big teams. But as we saw against Burnley, we played really well against Burnley. We created over 20 chances. And everyone was like, oh yeah, this is the new United. Look, he's attacking. He's thrown a coat. He's thrown his coat at us. We love Mourinho. He's attacking. This is what we want to see. If he does this, I'm behind him. I think that's what we'll see on Saturday. We'll see an attacking United with over 20 shots on goal. And people will fall into the trap again and go, he's back. This is what we want, Jose. Attacking. He's clapping us at the end of the game again. We love Mourinho. We love Mourinho. We always did. We always did. And then the fans will be split over the international break. Then we'll come back against Chelsea. He'll park the bus and all those people will be like, oh, he's mugged us off again. Oh, what are you doing, Jose? I thought we were going to do attacking football. He'll only attack against teams that he knows are in trouble and are weak. And we've only attacked twice, really, for 90 minutes this season. Well, once, Burnley, and on Saturday he'll do it. That's why we'll win. You've just got to read the man and read the way he puts his tactics out. He won't park the bus against Newcastle, so we will play better because people like Pogba and Rashford and Sanchez and Fred will have more freedom to express themselves. But when we play like against Valencia, they're not allowed to express themselves. Oh, you've got to get back and defend. That's it. That's it. Manchester Skulls 18's right. Newcastle will come fearless against us, says Jean-Chris. Well, as I said to Matty there, what did I say? If I was Newcastle and I was a spy for Newcastle, I would say, because many of us know, the weakness for Manchester United is get down our left-hand side where Valencia is. So maybe put that Kennedy over there. Keep hold of the ball, keep it on the ground, move it fast, and be expressive and be brave, and get at us. That's United's weakness at the moment. Your worst thing you can do about United at the moment is park the bus. Don't play defensive against United because we will grind out chances. Get at United, and we struggle, and we've seen that. But I think Newcastle will sit back, and that's why we'll win. No matter what happens on Saturday, Jose Mourinho is a coward, says Lamar24. Draughty Devil says, we attacked against Spurs and got hammered because the defence sucks. Yes, Draughty, you're right. That's why he won't attack against better teams, because he knows his defence will get annihilated, which is a sad state of affairs, and it's a very good point. It's a sad state of affairs that Mourinho has to park the bus against better teams because the defence is crap. Whose fault is that? He's been here. This is year 3. This is transfer window 5 he's had. He bought Bailly and Lindelof. So, yeah, the defence is a mess, and that's why he does play 2 CDMs or 3 centre-backs. But he knows against teams like Burnley he can attack because they haven't got the quality to hurt them. And that, when you listen to Matty and what we've been saying, that's the problem with Newcastle. They don't have the quality in the final third. I am Jonesy. Will you be doing FIFA tomorrow? I hope I will be doing FIFA tomorrow. Whether it'll be on my channel or That's Football, I'll let you know tomorrow. But there was a problem today that I'm trying to sort out. It will end 1-1 because they ain't allowed to attack, says Mitchell Woodward. He's got to attack on Saturday. Mourinho can't draw on Saturday. I think a draw would leave him... I don't think he will get sacked if we draw, but there's a chance he will. If we lose, I think he's gone. If he wins, he's safe. And I think he knows he's got to go and win that game, and I think he will. Lokos says it's the board that make the transfers, you stupido. Don't call me stupid, Lokos, when you've got a stupid name. And that's not how it works at Manchester United because we don't have a director of football. So get with the programme, mate. What happened in the summer is Mourinho wanted certain signings and the board said no. The board didn't go out and sign Paul Pogba. They didn't go out and sign Lindelof. Bloody hell, if you told bloody Ed Woodward to go and sign Lindelof, he'd come back with some Belgian chocolate. He ain't got a clue who Lindelof is. He doesn't know anything about football. So Mourinho has picked his signings. What happened in the summer is the board wouldn't buy them for him, like they didn't buy Perisic the summer before. But Mourinho was responsible for Bailly, for Lindelof. They're his picks. We haven't got a director of football. Ed Woodward doesn't know anything about football. So any player we've bought is because Mourinho wanted them. He hasn't always got the players he wanted. Like he's been told no sometimes, but he's certainly not been just given players by Ed Woodward. God no, no way. Newcastle will attack, definitely, with the look Jose has. They might score first, says Luis Masonga. I think there's a lot of negativity in the live comments. I haven't got a problem with that. That's your prerogative. I can see why you think that. But in my experience and knowledge, I think that unless the players don't turn up, and I really think they will, I guarantee you Mourinho will attack because he's got to attack and it's a poor side and we'll win the game. I've got no reservations about it at all. But on the other hand, I could also do my Chelsea preview now and say we're going to lose to Chelsea. We will lose to Chelsea, 100%, because they're a good team. And we've got a terrible record at Stamford Bridge anyway. How important are the fans in the eyes of the board, Mark? Says Sugar Bertie II. I do think they're important. I think the fans are very important to the board. I think if the fans started booing or not turning up in masses, then the board would take note of that. I have always said, from doing the United stand from day one, that the football fans, whether the United fans, Liverpool fans or anything, you are the lifeblood of football. Unfortunately, tribalism and toxicity makes fan opinion very weak, because even in our own fan base you will have fans who just have a go at each other and hate each other. But if football fans actually united and united on a common cause, they can be very, very powerful, because let's be honest, footballers, managers, the board, they make loads of money because of you, the fans. So if half of Old Trafford was empty on Saturday, Mourinho would probably be sacked on Sunday, because that's a massive statement that the press will jump on, that won't be lost on the board. And they can't have that. That's not going to happen. I don't think it should happen. But fans are the most important thing in football. All these big sponsors Manchester United get, Liverpool get, Chelsea get, they're only getting big sponsors like Cola on the arm and Aeon here because they want your eyes. They want your eyes on their product, and they want that. They're paying for your eyes. There's a little bit about being associated with Manchester United, but if Manchester United had 100 fans instead of 100 billion or 100 million fans, they wouldn't be interested. It's all because of you. But we are the manipulated, we are the naive as a collective, football fans are. We are the ones who pay ridiculous amounts of money for shirts, merchandise, subscriptions. I do it as well. I collectively say football fans are, they are the lifeblood of football, but we're also very weak because we're very fragmented and we just love the game, and that's where the money goes in the pocket to pay for it. So, in a long answer there, but in short, the board do take note of the fans, but I don't think the fans will ever do anything big to make the board take notice, because we'll keep turning up. Even with David Moyes, even Van Gaal's last few months, when people knew he was finished, people still turned up. That's what football fans do. We're very loyal. Would I have Diego Costa over Lukaku despite his age, says Sergio Hernandez? I'd have Diego Maradona over Lukaku at the moment, and look at him. He's a right mess. I think Lukaku should have been sacked. Not sacked. That's Mourinho. I think Lukaku should have been dropped 3 games ago for his own good. I think he looks tired from the World Cup. He's lost his touch. He's lost his confidence, but Mourinho will never drop him. And I think he does need dropping at the moment. You could try Sanchez up front. You could try Rashford up front. You could try Martial up front. I think it would do Lukaku good to come out the firing line, go on the bench, come on for the last 20 minutes. I think the fans would respond better to that and say, come on, you've been dropped. Let's start building your way back into the team. At the moment, it's just monotonous for him, for everybody else. Having said that, it's the same as Lukaku as it is for Mourinho. The perfect game at the weekend. He probably will get a lot of service if Newcastle sit back. So, Lukaku will probably... what price would you get for United winning 3 or 4-0 on Saturday with Lukaku getting a couple of goals, and then Saturday night there will be United fans who come out and say, we've won, we played well, I'm going to back Mourinho, Lukaku's back scoring, everything's sorted, let's be confident and positive. I think mug should be written on their forehead, because you know what's going to happen at Chelsea, but what price that happening? I think it's most likely. It's most likely that will probably happen. As I say, I think it's an easy 3 points and a comfortable 3 points, which as a United fan I'm very, very happy about. But in the bigger picture, does it help us? Somebody said to me today, I would rather we drew on Saturday and Mourinho got the sack, because in the long term, even this season can still be rescued. But if we win on Saturday, he's still here for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. How does that help us in the long term? We need the change, and short-term pain, long-term gain. I don't know whether I agree with that, but I understand what people are saying about it. Valan says, I say our last straw should be an open checkbook in January. If he fails, then we can fire him with peace of mind. We ain't got a club like that, man, Valan. We haven't got a club like that that's going to go, there's an open checkbook to try and sort this problem out. And they shouldn't do that. I would not give him another penny. I would not give him another... Even if he survives till January, do not give him another penny. It's just wasted money. What if he goes and spends it on another 29, 30-year-old who's slow? Don't give him any money. And our board won't give him any money. They did it. Remember Van Gaal? They didn't give him any money in the January because they knew there was a chance they were going to have to sack him in the May. And they did. I wouldn't give him any money. I really, really wouldn't. I wouldn't. And also in January... It's all right saying open checkbook, but January is very difficult to get players, decent players. Easy guy, Mourinho is a proven winner. Others haven't got a clue. Thanks for the contribution. Don't really know what you're on about. He is a proven winner, but is that relevant now? How is that relevant now? I think he is a proven winner, but his time is gone. Mike Mitchell-Woodward says no more money at all to Jose, and Jose is the problem, says Sean Burnett. What if we beat Chelsea? What does that mean for Mourinho, says Yusuf Ismail. If we beat Chelsea, depending on how we do it, I mean, if we park the bus for 90 minutes and then the referee turns around and volleys it into the goal for us, 45, we win 1-0, nothing changes. If we went to Chelsea in some hypothetical fantasy world, played really well and won 2 or 3-0, then suddenly everything changes, doesn't it? And, I will still say what I said 2 weeks ago. The best scenario for Manchester United is if Jose Mourinho gets us playing good football, we start playing really good football, all our players respond, and we go on a winning streak, and we get to where we should be. That would still be the best scenario, because you haven't got to pay Mourinho however million to get rid of him. You haven't got to pay a load of million to get somebody else in. You haven't got to go changing the squad again. It is the best scenario, but it's also absolute fantasy. It's not going to happen. And I think maybe the board and their lack of football knowledge think it can happen, because they haven't got a clue. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No way. Fraser said, would you have Leonardo Jardim at United, Mark? That's the Monaco manager. Yes, I would. I would take anybody at the moment. I wouldn't take anybody, but there's a few managers I would take at the moment, and we could go and get them. But my personal opinion is that I don't think the club are even looking. I think they are praying and hoping that Mourinho is going to pull off a miracle. And we're not prepared again. That's what I think's happening. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. I just want to say as well, I did a video at lunchtime about Mourinho being sacked. Very, very good video. If you didn't see it, if you're at work, give it a watch. It's only about 20 minutes long. Very, very good video. If I do say myself, because it was very interactive about the sacking of Jose Mourinho. So give that a watch. And also, tomorrow morning, I think I'm going to be live very early. 8 a.m. UK time is apparently, I've heard the rumour that there is Mourinho's press conference. Instead of being 2 o'clock, it's going to be at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'll be live straight after that. So 20 past 8 in the morning, something like that. I will be live with the Jose Mourinho press conference tomorrow morning. So join me for that. FIFA 19 will be back tomorrow as well. I'll be doing some of that on my channel, hopefully. Thanks everyone for watching. Please smash the like button on your way out. Really appreciate getting Matty from Magpie's channel on. Really love getting somebody who supports the club that we're going to play to get that insight. It really gives us an insight as well. So drop a like if you like that scenario. We've done it with Wolves. We'll do it with Newcastle. We'll definitely do it with Chelsea as well. I know a couple of Chelsea fans as well. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Tomorrow morning early. Press conference reaction. Get it on the download. In Off the Black.